we're really back where we were in 1963 and 4. We have, I think, 19 states developing statewide registration laws that limit the vote or that make it difficult to vote or that harass people for minimal things. And I think our democracy is at stake. And this is not President Biden's job. This is a job of everybody in the business community. It's the job of all of our churches and labor unions. It's the job of our universities. Our country is in crisis now. And I think if Martin Luther King were still alive, that's what he'd be telling us.
Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema are the main challenge here, at least for the Democrats, with the latter, Kyrsten Sinema, receiving lots of heat, and she's been called a traitor to John Lewis. What do you make of their opposition and the criticism that they're receiving?
I'm not concerned about them. I'm concerned about the 60 Republicans. There's 16 of them that voted for this under George Bush when it was renewed, I think, about 15 years ago. This is not controversial. This is democracy at stake. And it's not just, I don't know the senators, the Democratic senators, but I know that this, amongst the 60, amongst the Republicans, there's got to be 10 men and women who believe in this democracy and who are willing to stand up for it. They took an oath when they were sworn in to defend the Constitution. And right now, what's at stake is our Constitution.
Now, we know Dr. King was opposed to the filibuster, at one point saying, quote, "I think the tragedy is that we have a Congress with a Senate that has a minority of misguided senators who will use the filibuster to keep the majority of people from even voting." So what effect would changing the filibuster have on Congress? Do you fear that it could become a sort of double-edged sword depending on who's in power?
Anything can become a double-edged sword. But I think that right now we simply need that sword to cut through the crap that's keeping people from their fundamental right to vote as American citizens.
And you are, Andrew, you're the former...
revolutionize the American way of life. We simply have to pass a Voting Rights Act. We had no problem passing the act to extend the debt limit. It went off without controversy because there was a bipartisan commitment to managing the country's finances. There's got to be a bipartisan commitment to the right to vote. When I first moved to Georgia, I voted Republican. When I lived in New York, I voted Republican. Most of the time, I've been a Democrat. But this is a choice that every citizen has a right to make. And their right to choose and their right to vote has to be protected by the Constitution and by the Congress.
Didn't mean to interrupt you there. Sorry. Final question for you, though, Andrew. You're the former director of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which is a civil rights group first led by Martin Luther King Jr. When you think back to the civil rights era, how does the fight for racial equality compare then and now?
I think we've made enormous progress, and we shouldn't overlook that. We are aware of a lot of continuing incidents of violence and police brutality and the like, but those were there all along worse. The thing now is that when it happens, we see it on our iPhones or in the news. We didn't have that kind of news communication in the 60s, and we didn't know what was going on. But I assure you that my life and the life of my family is better than I ever thought it anybody else thinks of me. I think of myself as an African American Christian. And I think of myself as a citizen of this country who I can trace my ancestors back to Louisiana in the 1840s. So we've been around a long time as far as we know. We were around before that, but I can't trace it because they probably were slaves. They may not have been, though. And because they were landowners in the 1840s in Louisiana. And so it's a complicated country, but it's a wonderful country. I've been to more than 100 countries in the world. There's no place that's any better than these United States. And I think Martin Luther King always was giving his life and his ministry to redeem the soul of America. Right now, America's soul is in trouble. And it's in trouble for not only for what bad people are doing to manipulate, but it's in trouble because they're good people who will do nothing.
All right, Andrew, I have one more question for you. Since it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, what are your fondest memories of him? What can you share with us about working with him and knowing him?
Well, I'll tell you what, that was the best part of my life. I've been to the mayor of Atlanta. I've been a congressman. I've been to the United Nations. I chaired the Olympic Committee, but there was no time in my life that was as meaningful as the time I spent between 1960 and 1970 with Martin Luther King and the organization that he founded. Even though they didn't pay me but $6,000 a year, we were working basically as well. I had a family, but I had a wife who was a school teacher who was able to support us. But this was a job that we did because we believed in America, and we believed that America must be the beacon light of hope for the peoples of this earth. And I still believe that.
Andrew Young, former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations and advisor to Dr. King and the head of the Andrew Young Foundation. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
God bless you, and don't give up on America, and don't give up on these parties, Democrat or Republican. Right now, they're sick, and you know why they're sick. But we overcome.